Welcome into Carpooling with Ben. Fans, don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Andy Gresh of News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, The Gres Show.
That's right, baby.
Weeknights, 6 to 9 p.m.
That's right.
And, I was able to keep the seat warm for you for a few weeks in the interim.
You were in the revolving door?
I was part of that whole, John Laughlin, myself, and, a few other people.
Sure.
But, they said, hey, it's going to go to a sports mentality. I said, great, I'm a musician. See ya. They brought you in. But, first off, thanks for joining me in the car today.
Oh, my God, this is awesome.
This is the kickoff to summer. No secret, in New England, you've got plenty to talk about when it comes to sports.
No question.
On a national level, even on a local level, because we have some insanely talented colleges and high schools in the area.
Yep.
Obviously, the Pawtucket Red Sox. But your show has been on for a couple months now. Everything's going well. And, one of the cool things about your show is you're on the road a ton.
Yes.
You are going to local, places, local restaurants where you can catch a sports game, talking with the people. How's it going? How you like it?
Well, number one, I was working in Hartford.
Okay.
So from where I live in Seekonk,
yep,
it was 187 miles round trip to drive to go to work.
Sure.
Now it is 3.6 for me to go to work. So let's just start right there. On a life level, it's amazing.
Now you're only passing 6 Dunkin' Donuts.
Exactly.
Instead of 100.
That's right. I got my one in Seekonk. I got the one down at the corner gas station.
Over by the Ming Street Mafia.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Ming Street Mafia. I think like Patrick Little's dad is still over there with his business or whatnot. But it's, dude, it's awesome.
Good.
Because the ride is shorter. I work with a great kid in Brett Ferruccio, who's an intern of mine when the Score was around.
Right.
And it was nice to be recruited for like 5 months.
Yeah.
This was a long process. Few people know, Ben, that for me, it was either I was coming home or I was going national.
Yeah.
So the offer was I could have stayed with the company I was with and done a national sports talk show on a grander scale, or this. And this worked out because, well, I just couldn't be in New York 5 days a week. It didn't fit my family life.
Yeah.
But it was tempting. But this was a great fit. It was perfect. And doing something at night is different. And you mentioned being out on the road, which is very kind of you for what you said about the show. But the thing about the show is that, there's other sports talk that's imported in from a city up north. Mm-hmm. Those people are never going to get out and touch you. They're never going to be able to go to a place and react with people for an NFL or an NBA draft. And I think that's part of the difference, and quite honestly, part of the fun. Because as you know, with your vast experience in performing, that there's an eclectic group of people out there in this state that want to go to events like that are interesting to themselves.
Absolutely.
To say the least.
Well, there's your faithful followers.
Well, there's that, and there's also the people who come out every once in a while when you have the right event, where you look and you say, now there's a specimen right there.
There you
go. There's a person that you have to take a picture with.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. Locally, you went to URI.
Yeah.
That was class of 97, 98?
Yeah, something like
99,
that. I honestly, I was on the 4.5-year plan. Most football players are. Okay. So you come in your red shirt, you have your full year, then you play 3 years, and then you have your extra semester so that you can play your 5th year. I didn't play. I gave up a year of eligibility, so I didn't play what could have been my last year. So I think they technically have me at class of 97, but I was done, at that end of that first semester in 96. Okay. So mere semantics. And if you said to me, hey, let me see your degree, the actual piece of paper, I have no idea where that is.
It's just,
it's not.
It's more of a formality, really.
Dude,
it's more of a formality.
And with the business that we're in, it's not like you walk in the door and people go, oh, I'd like to see your transcript.
There you go.
Take it. Wherever you worked.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It's a beautiful thing. Speaking of some local sports, we touched on the Paw Sox. It's a great family value, obviously. It's a great place to hit up the games and whatnot. We have Gillette Stadium, which is closer to us than that city up north.
Yeah.
So, really we feel like it's a part of our team, more so than, and a lot of the players live in Rhode Island.
They live close.
Absolutely. Danny Amendola, his girlfriend is Miss Universe, former Miss
That's
Rhode Island.
right.
What does that do for you as far as content-wise, your ability to put a show together that's engaging and relevant?
A lot of it is talk about what people are talking about. And I know that sounds so easy and so trite and so simple, but it really is true. If whether LeBron does something or Kevin Durant or, hockey fans are very interesting because they're very passionate, and that they're waiting to come out and talk about their sport, even though there are probably more sports fans that don't understand hockey than do. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I've got to be passionate about what I'm talking about. So if there's a tie, normally it goes to the local, unless I've got a real strong opinion on it, and I know it's going to get some sort of reaction. But the one great thing about New England is, whether it's the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Paw Sox, like you mentioned, and the one thing about my show is I can do whatever the hell I want. Yeah. Like, it's not just a sports show. So if something crazy happens in Rhode Island or in the world, I've got the ability to be able to talk about that, and they're not going to look at me and be like, we brought you here to talk sports.
Right.
They're like, go do your thing. Whatever you feel good about, whatever you want to talk about, go talk about it.
Well, and you also, let's face it, the station has an insane history.
Oh, my God.
It's got an amazing team of reporters. They've got excellent resources there. They're live from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's a rarity.
Oh, no question.
That's a rarity.
Now, who would win a hot body contest between Bill Haberman, Steve Klamkin, and Paul Zangari?
I go with the classics. I think Paul Zangari could take it.
I got to tell you, he's a good-looking silver fox, but Bill Haberman. Bill Haberman.
What?
Habby's been a friend of mine forever. He's a great guy, but he thinks he could manage the Red Sox. Like, he's one of those guys where he'll come up to me if I see him, and he'll, hey man, they can't be using Kimbrel for 2 innings, and he's going crazy about Craig Kimbrel and stuff like that. I would go with Habby only because Steve Klamkin has not aged in 20 years.
No.
His face has not aged. It's amazing. But I would go Habby because Habby's a runner.
Yeah.
And that is a low exercise newsroom.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I can get behind that as a fat guy myself.
Okay.
But they're all really awesome. And you mentioned the history of the station. I was lucky enough to, be among the few. It was right at the end of his career to get to meet Salty Brine a little bit. His son Wally's had a great history up north, and the S-Man was the best. And to hear the fact that there are still some people in the building who can tell stories from when Salty was there, from the legendary days of the 80s, it's pretty amazing and frightening at the same time.
It's and the funny thing is Salty really had a kind of a rebirth to his career working with Cardi's.
No question.
Being part of the commercials there. Not a rebirth, but a second.
He kind of gave him a second
encore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was great. I got to work with him in that sense. And for me, growing up listening to the radio for the school cancellations, unlike now where we get a text message 5 days in advance of a snowstorm. Shut down the schools. We're nervous here.
Yep.
Kids, it's. But
the old automated voice.
Yeah, absolutely. To hear that, back in the day, and even Gary DeGrade, he was on the sister
Gary
station. It was just that was so cool to be part of that whole history thing. It's slightly off topic, but it's kind of like what Family Guy did for Adam West, who recently passed away.
Totally agree. It's a great analogy.
And Adam West. And I was shocked at the recent news that he had passed. A few weeks ago, he was on a Facebook Live for Family Guy. He looked great.
I didn't realize that Adam West was, 88, 89 when he passed away? I was like, wow, I never would have.
He looked good.
Yeah, he really did. It's interesting, too, because, and it's funny, the day that came, I think it happened on a weekend.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about it on the show in terms of Adam West. And I think Salty kind of did this too. He realized that he was so big, but he also realized that there was a lot of parody kind of going on as well, and they were cool enough to roll with it.
Right.
That's what I appreciate. There's
such...
so many people in this business who take themselves so seriously now, and you got to roll with the punches and have some fun, for God's sakes.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's something you're certainly doing. One of the people, when you talk about fun, one of the people that comes to mind, local sports reporter that you do a lot of work with, especially during the Patriots season, Mark Dondero.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is the only person that I can, and I'm a big Belichick fan.
Sure.
He is one of the only people, and correct me if I'm wrong, that can actually stop Belichick in a press conference and make him smile.
Yeah, there were two people that I've seen who have the ability to get Belichick to not freeze, but to kind of just pause for a second.
Yeah.
One is Dondero,
Yeah.
who might be a certifiable lunatic.
He's
but
great.
we will have to explore that at another time. When you get him in this chair, you'll be able to.
I've tried.
Oh my gosh!
I've tried.
I'm gonna kick him in the.
It's not him. It's not him.
Yeah, see, it's funny. I have a relationship with them too, and it's so funny. Like I just get away with doing whatever I want.
You have dignity.
Well, and I've done stuff with Channel 12 forever, and everyone's just like, oh, that's him. But back to Belichick. The only other guy that I saw who had the ability to do that is a guy who passed away now, oh my God, probably 10 years ago, Alan Greenberg, who was a local guy who used to write for the Hartford Courant. This guy, Alan Greenberg, won a Pulitzer when he wrote with the LA Times, right?
Really?
He's a real deal.
Wow.
So he met a woman, he moved to New England, and he was covering the Patriots beat. And there was one time where a reporter got a scoop, and they called Belichick for a quote. This is great. So Alan, in the middle of the press conference, says to Belichick, well, I'd like to get the number so I could call you in situations like this. And Bill didn't know what to do, and he looked around and he goes, well, Stacy can, probably give you that number, meaning Stacy James, the PR guy.
Right.
And and Stacy was like, oh, and Alan kept pressing. No, I want the inside number. I want the number that he has. And poor Bill didn't know what to do. But when Alan died, Belichick started his press conference with basically admitting he was one of the few people that could kind of back Belichick into a corner verbally.
Wow.
I don't know if Dondero's ever going to get to that point.
No,
but they're the only two who can make that guy pause.
That's a talent and a skill all in of itself. And what are your thoughts going into the 2017 season? Looking ahead, I mean the team.
Well, they might go undefeated. I mean, and I don't throw that around flippantly.
Okay.
But Ben, they're so good, and the roster is layered, so that if Gronk gets hurt, it's not going to be as debilitating this year. If Brady goes down, you've got Jimmy G. They have so much depth on this roster. It's deeper than any of the other championship teams. And I dare say that when it's all said and done, people remember the Randy Moss year in 07 when they put up a ton of points. This group might be able to score as much as them.
Really?
Cooks is going to add something to their offense that they really haven't had in a long time. If you want to see Tom Brady at his best, put two tight ends and two wide receivers who know the offense on the field, and you could have Brady calling on the fly, and it would be amazing, because few guys have ever been in an offense as long as Tom Brady has been.
Sure.
He knows it as well, if not better than the coaches, and how he can apply it on the field. The best thing about Tom Brady, women love his looks, men love his wife, people love the way he plays, but his brain is the biggest reason why he's successful.
Yeah, no, it's true, and when you see all those puff pieces, I don't want to call it puff pieces.
That's what they are.
That extra, that extracurricular information that comes out and talks about how he works with his neurologist on a regular basis, and he does all these different things.
Avocado ice cream and all that crap.
You got to do what you got to do, but you take that principle, and not to be a homer, but if you were to apply that to whatever you do, and that kind of mentality, that kind of dedication, you could conquer the world. Gronkowski,
I love him.
He is just this happy-go-lucky guy, and people think he's a big goof, but he is an incredibly focused and just down, like, hardcore football player, working, making sure. I mean, who's come back from surgeries that he's come back from stronger than they have been other than him?
Football, chicks, chicken.
Yeah.
That's Gronk at the end of the day.
And now monster trucks.
And now monsters. And the fourth thing should be insert name here for check here.
Yeah.
Which is smart. And this guy realizes he's only got so long to play.
Yeah.
I love Gronk because at the end of the day, if you said to him, you could only do one thing in life. Like, you couldn't party, you couldn't go do the extracurricular stuff, or you'd have to give up football. I think he would give up all the other stuff and still play football because he loves it that much.
Yeah, he's got a great mind for it too.
Oh,
he's very, very smart. People think, people pass him off as
look
being
at you and your fancy Patriots knowledge.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
He's incredibly intelligent, and that's so it's certainly a great season coming up. Boston Red Sox.
The Sox are going to be okay. The question really is going to be, is the pitching going to hold up? Can David Price figure out what in the world is up with him? And they have plenty of offense. The Yankees are on a riding high right now, but ultimately they'll settle in a little bit. But the Red Sox are still going to have a good year. The thing is with the Red Sox, and look, you've been around, you've lived here your whole life, you know this. People are just never happy with the Red Sox.
Right.
Unless they're in first place and they're mowing everybody down, and their pitching is great and the bullpen makes people feel good and they feel secure that the manager's not going to be a weenie idiot. And I'm not a John Farrell hater.
Sure.
However, there are times where he's a weenie idiot.
Yeah.
Then otherwise people are going to complain because it's just the Red Sox.
The Paw Sox are hot right now. I mean, for the time being. I mean, they so anybody who kind of follows the storyline understands that the Boston Red Sox will probably strip all of that away. They'll send a lot of the players off to either include them in trades, or they'll bring them up and they'll have kind of could affect their season. But the farm system for Boston is really good right now. So do you think that helps in place to the strength of
I think so a little bit. The thing is that they've got 3 young outfielders. They have a young shortstop. They have a second baseman in Pedroia that they're committed to. So when you think of it long term, first and third base are the opportunities that are there for someone in an organization like Sam Travis. And I know they traded away Travis Shaw, who's having a great year in Milwaukee, but I think it's more the corner spots. They're pretty set at the major league level. What's going to happen is, and this is your give and take, kind of like what you're getting to. Are they going to pay Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts and Andrew Benintendi and Xander Bogaerts? Are they going to give those guys all $12 to $20 million a year? Like, one of them is going to get left out.
The one thing that's not going away is your show.
No.
Weeknights, 6 to 9
Yes,
p.m. News Talk 630 at 99.7 FM. It's the Gres show. You've got a killer truck. That is.
I gotta say, the big boss hit a home run with the truck, and the
great.
biggest complaint that we have about the truck.
Nobody else has one.
Well, that's the Dan York beef. Like my boy Matt Allen is just like, with those giant eyelashes of his. He's like, oh, I don't care about the truck. It's okay, man.
He's
just looking at me.
He's crying.
Giant.
He's got his water filter company. He's fine.
Yeah, he's crying on the inside. But people have complained that they think it's a cop. Because where they park it right near that exit of the station, they put the Gresh-Truck right there, so it's like a billboard. But the problem is people will come up on it and they see the blue on the side of the truck.
I've got a solution. Slow down.
Yes.
Just slow down.
Well,
wear your seatbelt and slow down.
Okay, so do you think Wampanoag Trail has the appropriate speed limit on it at 45 miles an hour?
I did that once during the blizzard coverage. That was the slowest I've driven. Yeah, it's. I had the wife's car.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Drive. No.
all right. There we go.
You're
not like snowshoeing it or something.
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
All right, good.
It'd be a good time.
And of course, everybody on the trail is like very fearful. But yes, the truck is it's something that I never expected, quite honestly.
It's a symbol of freedom in my mind.
It's amazing.
It's
and
right up there with the Statue of Liberty and, the blind justice with the scales.
Yes, my face like this on the back of a truck is very freeing, I'm sure, and very scary to
Why can't we get you as a plush doll like we have Nairobi?
Well, well, dude, I have one of my cop buddies texted me something very profane, and it was basically, I saw the truck, I saw the back of it, I'm gonna get you. And I'm like, God dang. Not pulling it over, but he's gonna be looking for maybe something that does resemble the Jesus fish to put on the back of the truck and embarrass me.
Okay, all right. Well, let's hope for the best. Keep your eyes out and keep your eyes peeled for that.
If they do, it'd be, how do I not laugh at that, for God's sake?
Post-worthy right there. Folks can follow you on Facebook. They can follow you on Twitter. And most importantly, tune in at night. Call in. This is a great opportunity for you to get your voice heard. It's a local number, 401-438-WPRO.
Look at you, like you've given it out before.
Well, I might have filled in. I'm actually filling in for Matt Allen coming up in July. So,
oh, really?
Yes. I hope I get...
Curl those eyelashes, brother.
I try to look as good as him.
He has eyelashes women would kill for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gresh, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. I
Great.
appreciate it, and good luck to you. This is a fascinating concept.
Thank you.
And I'm going to personally call the people at 12 and say they have to let Dondero do this.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the voice of support there.